Hello, good evening, happy Sunday. I hope you've had a successful, happy, comfortable weekend, whatever. Obviously, it's a Sunday evening, Sunday the 4th of May, 2025. This is Gary Gettle, psychologist, psychotherapist, and we're here with the beginning of the second week of our 10-week challenge. So is it day 8, I presume? Yes, day 8. So the first thing, just a small update on my day, just for you to know what my day has been like. I had to be up fairly early because I promised to take my wife to homeopathy courses. My wife is trained to be a homeopath, so we needed to leave her around 8:15 to take her to her courses. And then I came back and I decided I would take some stuff to the office. And what I didn't realize is that I think it's the 20 kilometers of Lausanne today. It's something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the road that I chose to take was closed. So I took another road, which was also ended up closed. We then went somewhere else and closed and then closed and closed. And basically, to actually get to my office was pretty much impossible. So eventually, I found a place to park the car, which was only about 2-3 minutes away. Not totally legal, but it was close enough. And I went to the office and put the stuff in, and then eventually I got home. And today I've been doing a lot of tidying and organizing, catching up on stuff, which I promised myself I'll do. I have a to-do list of what I plan to do today. Quite a to-do list. I'll share with you my to-do list. I have to go back a bit on this. Tick, tick, tick. There we go. So I was supposed to finish and send some recording of my son's quartet playing, but I then discussed it with him and it was not necessary. I need to package and send some videos to a patient. Now, this is very interesting, is that I have a patient that I am recording her sessions with her. And for the moment, the recording's sort of sitting in my my computer, and I've not done anything with them. So what I promised myself to do today is that I would, well, the recordings, the way the camera works is they're actually cut into small chunks, and then I have a program. And so what I've been doing is charging them into the program, putting them together, and then saving them. It takes an awful long time for the computer to do that. But what is interesting is the fact that I am recording live sessions. And something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I've not mentioned it yet, and it's a good excuse to mention it today, is that I would be open if people would like to do some live or recorded sessions with people. So if you're watching this and you feel that it might be helpful, I am a psychologist, psychotherapist, family therapist with 25 years of experience. So I've got some idea what I'm talking about. If you feel that you would like a session or 2 sessions with me, and you're willing to have them recorded and shared with other people, then I would be open to reflect. If there's 1,000 of you, then I'm not going to be able to do it. But if you would be interested in having 1 or 2 sessions with me on Zoom or whatever platform you use, and that we can record it and that we can share it with other people, I would be open to doing that. So that's just something I've not mentioned it before, but because I'm tidying up these sessions with this patient, and she wishes to put them out, I presume, on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly where or on what platform. And then she's given me permission to put them also out on YouTube. But at the moment, I'm hesitating because I'm not totally comfortable to show everybody all my details. All the details of how I work and all the weird things I say and I do. I'm seriously thinking about it. So, and to begin with, anyway, those sessions are recorded in French. because I do also do consultation in French. My French is good enough to do consultations. It's not good enough to do much else with, but it's good enough to do consultations. So I would have to, for you people, the English people, find a way to re-record it into English. And there's computer systems that do that, but it takes an awful lot of time and effort. And so I need to think about that. But for the moment, I'm with two minds whether to do this or not. I'm a bit uncomfortable with the idea, although she has given me permission, but permission for her side to see the therapy. But how comfortable I am to show people how I actually work, I'm not so sure how positive that will be to see people. And that. On the other hand, I am very open to do live work with people. And that's a different framework, and it's a different situation. So if any of you would be interested to have a live session with me that we could record and we could show to other people, send me a message somehow through whatever channels you can find, leave a message or whatever, and we'll get in contact and we'll see to it. Obviously, the fact to do it means that you're open for us to share whatever personal details that you're talking about. So anyway, that's one of the things I've been doing today is organizing this work. What else have I been doing today? I don't know if you're interested or not. Create a generic thumbnail for the 70 videos. So these live videos that I'm doing now, when they're actually put on my channel so people can look at them again, they either have a picture of me or they have something with Elon or something like that, which is really not attractive. And I can re-edit them and I can do thumbnails. And so I'm planning, and I've actually done a generic thumbnail that I will put on them, and then I'll put something on as a theme. But that's another work that's quite an important work for each one. After all, each one is 30 minutes. I'm not going to re-edit 30 minutes. I'm going to edit the very beginning. That's usually a bit not very interesting, and then just check and see what the theme is for that particular video. There will be a theme for tonight, but we'll get there in a minute. Create space on my computer, which stopped accepting any new videos because it's totally bunged up. So I've had to do a lot of editing and moving and so on. I had a busy day today. Finished tidying the 70-day videos. Well, did I just say that? Or did I say it in the French one? I've been recording videos I think it was in the French one, since January. I did the first 70-day challenge in January, from the 4th of January to I think about the 15th of March. And I recorded myself on a daily basis, at least once a day, saying what I was at, where I was, what was happening, and things like that. And sometimes in the gym to show people what the fitness was. Sometimes I was getting measured and weighed professionally. Oh yes, and also weighing and measuring myself. I recorded that so people could actually be aware of the process. And then because I'm very, very busy, I just put it all into the computer, just like a mess. And it's taken me weeks and weeks to tidy it up. And one of the things that's really, really important is if you've got a very, very big job, just like we've got this big challenge, if you've got a big job, do it. If you can't do it all at once, it doesn't matter. Start going for it. I've got a lot of people that have messes in their houses, boxes of stuff to tidy up, and slowly, they're sorting them out. They sort them out because they are motivated, because maybe I had a patient with the most awful, I hope I've said this in French, not in English, because otherwise I'll be just repeating myself. An awful mess in her apartment, and I went down with her and I helped to start it, just to start it, and she's keep going and going and going, and it's nearly finished. She had the motivation to start because I helped her, and then she found other people to come and help her to do it, and it's nearly done. I have people that bring their post to the office. They bring the post to the office because they can't do it alone. I had a patient once that couldn't go and pay his bills in the bank alone. So I would go with him out of my office to the bank, which was only across the road, and I would stand about 20 feet away. I wasn't there helping him physically. It was just my presence and my support that was necessary for him. And it's quite often in life that we cannot get to do things just by ourselves. We need a bit of help, we need a bit of support. We need someone that says, we can do it, let's do it. And that's why I'm here. That's why I am here 6 nights a week, talking basically the same thing every single night. You can do it. I believe in you. I have confidence in you. So that's basically all I'm saying every night. I'm telling you a bit about my life, what's going on, just to fill in the 30 minutes. 30 minutes is huge. I'll tell you, to be talking, not to have any feedback. I mean, when I started this, I thought, oh, I'll go every night because people will give me feedback. People will chat. People will say, I'm from here, I'm from there, I'm doing this challenge, I'm doing that challenge, I need help with this and with that, and I'd have things to talk about. But for the moment, that's not happening. But who knows in the future? So I have managed eventually, I think it's about the fourth or fifth time I've gone to it, to actually finish tidying, sorting, organizing my videos from 70 days. I have a garage to tidy, which I've not even looked at. I've got stuff to put in the garage I've not even looked at. I have to plan more subjects for the live broadcasts, because I really need to have subjects to talk about which are linked to the challenge on some way. So that's something that's important. And I need to edit and upload the videos, but that's about it. So what else? I've decided that I need to change my diet. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that before. Talking to the fitness coach on my muscle mass, which I got measured yesterday, which went up a bit since I've stopped dieting. And I've noticed that, and I talked to him about it, and he said that more than likely the reason why my muscles are not growing as much as I'd like them to be is because I'm not eating enough protein. I need more protein if you're going to have muscle mass, so I'm going to have to increase my protein intake over the period of time. And the other thing, before I talk about a specific subject, which is the subject of expectations, is that I weighed and measured myself this morning. And over the last week, I have lost about 5 pounds, which sounds quite impressive, but I gained a lot over the 5-6 weeks, so it's normal. And I did a 3-day fast, so would expect to lose quite a lot on that. And 1/2 inch around the waist and half inch around the stomach. So just so you know, I'm started in the right direction, and I'm just expecting that you are also going in the right direction. And we don't expect miracles, because miracles are all well and good in stories, they're all well and good in books and in films, they're all well and good in the Bible, but in real life, miracles rarely happen. And when good things happen, it's usually because we put ourselves in the right frame of mind, in the right attitude, in the right situation. We're open and we do the work necessary. And then good things happen. And the fact you're still with me, I can see that you are motivated. And anyway, so we'll talk about expectations. Expectations are a very, very important subject. They're very important because depending on our expectations, they can either pull us forward, and they can either block us, or they can knock us down. And obviously, I'll explain what I'm talking about. So first of all, negative expectations. Many of us have grown up throughout life with negative expectations from the people around us, from our parental figures. I say parental figures because it opens a little bit the space for teachers and uncles and aunts and stepmothers and stepfathers, and even sometimes older brothers and sisters that could take the role of parental figures. So we have certain people that see us in such a way, and their expectations of us are actually not enormously high. I had a situation. I don't think my father really expected me to be very successful. I think he just expected me to be a nice person and to just do what he did, sell things in shops, or nothing extraordinary. I don't think he expected me to be extraordinary. However, I was very fortunate. I was in boarding school for 6 years, 7 years, 6 years, 6 years, for 6 years, and the director of it, Mr. Benjamin, who was an incredible person. He had high expectations of me, and he also was very much into solve your problem. I'd go to him and say, "How do I do this? Or why do I do that? Or what is going?" And he'd look at me and go, "Solve your problem." And it was very frustrating at the time that, I went for help, I went for support, and all he did is say, "Solve your problem," and I'd screw that. That's not very helpful. And yet now, as a therapist, when I look back on that, as opposed to someone saying, I will find a solution for you every time, that is not really the best message. Because when someone, every time you come to someone and say, "I don't know how to do this," and they say, "I will do it for you, I'll do it for you, I'll solve your problem," what it's actually giving as a message is you're incompetent, you're incapable, you are going to be helpless for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not saying my father had that attitude. My father, he would let me do things and create things and do my own thing. It wasn't negative in that way. Just his expectations weren't very high. That's all. Whereas Mr. Benjamin, his expectations were very, very high, and he pushed me and he challenged me to do things and to be more than I could be. And I think that from that sort of expectation, and from also the indirect message from my father. My father was a very, very creative man that did many businesses, and unfortunately, most of them failed. And they failed usually because he chose the worst partners, not because the business idea was wrong. It's just the partners that he chose were either crooks or lazy, or just got angry with him, and whereas he was very easy to be with. And the businesses failed, and he went bankrupt. And then he started again, and he started again. I think he went bankrupt like 5 times altogether in my life. And eventually, not only did he go bankrupt, he went blind. He went legally blind. So he had, I don't know, 30-40% vision at the end. And he was always doing things, always creating, always going forward. So his expectations for himself were to always go forward and always to create something, no matter what happens. And Mr. Benjamin's expectations for me was that I could be successful. And so putting the two together has helped me so much in my life, because my expectation for myself is I will always find a solution. No matter what situation I find myself in, I'll find a solution. So that takes us away from the negative expectations. And yes, a lot of us have been brought up with negative expectations, and moves to positive expectations. Now, the other danger is when the expectations are too high. And if you imagine that you have a rope, string, and you have it tied around your body, and you have somebody holding that string, the parental figure, in general, that parental figure. And if the parental figure is behind you, and for some reason is not comfortable with you advancing, for whatever reason, consciously, unconsciously, narcissism, depression, who knows, right? Because if you've got somebody with you that's depressed and you start to advance too much, then you will leave them. So that they need you not to go too far. So they have a rope. So if when you want to advance and they pull the rope back, that's negative expectations. That literally pulls you backwards and stops you going forward, and could even knock you down. Some people obviously that have strong and important psychological, even psychiatric problems because of negative parenting. We've definitely heard about. So if you pull the rope backwards, then they're not going to either stop, or they'll go backwards, or they fall down. Now, if you go in front of them and you pull them forward, which presumably is a good thing, if you pull them too fast, and if you try and pull them too far, then they will also fall down or not be able to reach the height that you're sort of pulling them from. Imagine you've got somebody that's on the top of a mountain, and he pulls you just enough so that you can't go backwards, and you need to go forwards to be comfortable, but he doesn't give you all the means, or you don't have the means yourself to go up that hill. It's going to be very, very difficult. So having too high expectations of one can be also debilitating. Either you just fail to do what they expect you to do, or even if you have the means to do these things, and every time you do something, it's only what we expect of you, then that's not going to help. And the it's not good enough, which is the expectation of perfection or near perfection, that is incredibly damaging. When you get somebody, because you either got somebody that's not capable, strangely enough, if you've got parents with very, very, very high expectations, and you're particularly incapable, actually you can get out of it. They'll be disappointed, they'll be angry, they might be abusive, but it won't be actually quite as damaging as someone that does have the capacity to be excellent. Because if you can be almost perfect with parents that are perfectionists, you can do so well and still not reach their levels. You get people, you see, when a student goes for a test and gets 9 out of 10, and the parent says, "Why didn't you get 10 out of 10?" It's like, come on now. Isn't that good enough for you? Or when you get 10 out of 10, you say, well, how many other students got in the class got 10 out of 10? Are you just like everybody was a level just like not very high? Was it too easy to get 10 out of 10? So you didn't do so well? Or does the teacher like you? Is there some bias in the marking of the teacher that means that your success is not as valid or is not as important? Or what is your overall average? Never mind you got 10 out of 10 for this exam. So you get parents that have their expectations are just unreasonable and unfair. So you do get the rare occasion when you get somebody that actually benefits from these huge expectations because they are incredibly capable, and it's like a top athlete with a very strict coach, and they go to win lots and lots of races and get lots and lots of prizes. It's great, but you need to have someone that is really, really excellent to be able to benefit from that sort of expectation, that sort of coach, because otherwise it will destroy them. And a good coach is able to gauge exactly how much to expect from their athlete, to be able to get the best out of them and not damage them. And you could very much imagine, and often we see, that athletes do have awful injuries because the coach has not protected them enough, or the coach has not protected them enough from themselves, because obviously athletes are highly motivated to succeed. So what we need to have a motivation which is adapted to us. And one of the things that I thought was wonderful is that I work in a transcultural situation with my patients. And we often have immigrants from all different types, immigrants that have asylum seekers, and we've got immigrants that have been in Switzerland for a number of years and have all the permits. And of course, I have immigrants of Philip Morris and Nestle and posh and rich as well. Sometimes the people are amused at our clinic. They say that some of our patients, because they don't even have bus fare, walk to the cabinet, and some of my patients arrive in Rolls Royces. That is not actually true. However, I did have some patients that would come in what was it? It was a Tesla, and it was one of these services. It was one of these cars, you thingy car services, and you come in a Tesla. And once I went to their house, and they booked the Tesla for me. So I went to their house and gone back to my home, driven in a chauffeur-driven Tesla. That was fun, just for the experience of it. Not, I'm going to talk about the politics of Mr. Musk. I'll leave that to another time. But the expectations from these different levels, of course, if you've got university level parents and you have children that are pushed to go forward, I admit that my family here, my wife is is a doctor. Her father was a genius microengineer who died this year. And they come from an incredibly good family and heritage and all that sort of stuff. So we do have expectations of our kids that they would do well, and it's true that the two older kids are doing incredibly well in their professions and in their studies. So yeah, but what I found was wonderful was that I had this immigrant family, and in Switzerland we have apprenticeship programs. So basically, if you leave school at 16, you're expected, and I say expected, to go to an apprenticeship program. Because if you don't do an apprenticeship program and you don't have any higher education beyond normal official legal school years, it gets incredibly difficult to get any jobs. It's very blocked in Switzerland. And anyway, so this immigrant family came 1 week, and they were so pleased. And I said, well, what's happened? He said, well, our son, he's made it. He's made it in life. And I went, okay, well, what's he done? And he said, he's got his CFC. Now, CFC is the basic end of apprenticeship. There is something a bit lower down, but that hardly counts. It's just a normal apprenticeship, which you have to be a shopkeeper or a woodworker or cleaner, even the CFC, to be a cleaner in professional cleaner in buildings and things like that. So, but they were so pleased because he had managed to get a qualification. Now, that I think is so healthy. Because to say, oh, he's just got himself the minimum qualification in life, yeah, it's very denigrating. But for them, with their lacks, with their non-schooling from whatever country they came from, with him arriving in Switzerland, whatever age, not being able to speak any French, being able to finish his legal schooling and then go forward. And I do say one thing, is that the apprenticeship program in Switzerland is tough. It's tough because you do an extra 2 or 3 years of school. It's not full-time school, and it's not to go and do some very complicated exams, but it's still school. I think in the first year, I think it's 3 days of school a week. And in the second year and then the third year, I think it's 2 days of school a week. Then you have to do school and you have to pass your exams. And if you don't get those, you cannot get, even though you've done the practical side and the practical experience, and you can't get your qualification. So it's not actually nothing. It's true. But for the general population, a CFC is like the minimum anybody could expect it, but they were satisfied. And that is what we need. We need to be able to look to see what is reasonable, what expectations we can have of those around us, but more than that, what expectations we can have of ourselves. How far can we go? We're in the middle of this 10-week challenge, and we're going to get to the end. And I'm hoping and expecting that your challenge for yourself is something interesting, something that pushes you, and something that's reasonable. And that we together, we can get there. We can arrive, we can succeed. I know you can do it. You're here, you've been here for the whole half hour. It already shows a great deal of willing and I'm going to say stubbornness, but that's not really positive. But the desire to keep going, to keep working, to succeed. And you will succeed. I know you will succeed. We will succeed together. So I'll be here all week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if you're here, it'd be nice to see you. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and leave me a message. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for